everybody. This is Ted from Stone Senate, and we're here at Sound Emporium Studios after a very involved month of tracking the new record.
Yes,
and
sir.
I am very pleased to be sitting here with multi-Grammy winning producer Toby Wright. Toby, thank you so much for being here with me.
My pleasure, Ted.
We're going to talk just a little bit about my new signature amp with Devilcat. This is a Devilcat Gypsy. It is the amp that is, for my part, all over the new Stone Senate record. So Toby, in your career, you have recorded some of the most iconic amplifiers in rock and roll history.
I have.
So how does this amp stack up to that?
Well, Ted, that's a good question. After all of the tracks that we did, 15 songs, I think this is one of the top amplifiers in the world. And that's because it delivers the tone that fits in perfectly with what we've done. And it seems to just meld into whatever atmosphere and soundscape that we seem to put it in.
That is a great compliment. So, in tracking a record, how easy was it to record this amp as far as what you had to do EQ wise? Maybe did most every microphone work well with it? Was it very involved to dial in a really great tone?
No, it wasn't. It was put a couple of mics on the amps and on the cabinets, and actually I just blended about 4 of them, different microphones, and the blend is what I used as my EQ.
Right.
Some had a little bit more bottom end, some had a little bit more top end, so I'd adjust accordingly and get that tone in there.
So I'm going to ask you a question that we're really not quite to, and it'll kind of cover both the studio and maybe a little bit of live also, but how do you think this amp is going to sit in a mix, even though we're not quite to mixing yet?
Yeah, we're not. Well, the rough mixes sound pretty good.
I think so.
When we first came out of here with the tracking stuff that we did early on, right? It was last month or whatever. Those sounded really good. And that was just the raw Devilcat and the other one. And those blended really, really well.
How would you characterize the tones out of this amp? We'll just say the overdriven tones.
Oh, characterize. Definition.
Big, warm.
Oh, well, it adjusted to the track.
Right.
When we needed a little bit of bite in some of the heavier choruses, it was able to do that. When we calmed it down for some of the clean stuff, it was really able to just meld right in and set a really nice warm atmosphere.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you kind of a hypothetical question on this amp. To me, knowing your resume, which I will tell everybody, if you look up Toby Wright, the resume, we could do a 1-week video on just his resume, but there's 2 players to me that are 2 of the most recognizable players in rock. James Hetfield's rhythm tones, and obviously Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains, who I think is one of the most identifiable players in the history of rock music. So say you're a player that's at that level with what you do with your hands, you know what you want to do with a guitar. Is this the type of amp that a player like that could take and really put them over the top of being that identifiable type player?
Oh, I think so. Absolutely. I mean, this could definitely be one of the tools in the tool chest to do that. Obviously, you need the kick-ass guitar and the hands to do it, right?
Right.
Combination of all 3, but I think this is a top choice for one of those positions.
Right. So, closing thoughts on the amp. What are your just overall impressions? What would you tell people just that don't know anything about this amp?
Oh, I'd ask them what they were looking for in a tone, but depending on if they were looking for something that was, really different, I wouldn't give them this amp. I wouldn't suggest this amp. I would suggest this amp for more of the broad range from, I'm sure it could handle some jazz as well as you know, other genres of music that can get a little crunchy. You know what I mean? So I think that it really does span a lot of the genres of music and types of guitar playing that does go on.
That's great. Again, thank you so much.
Oh,
not just for your thoughts on the amp, but for spending a month in the studio with us. And I'll tell everybody, before too long, you're going to be able to hear this amp all over the new Stone Senate record, which Toby Wright produced. This is the second record he's done with us, and we're very proud of it. As far as the Devilcat Gypsy, you can order this amp now. You need to contact Chris Mitchell, Plaid Dot Music, or Devilcat Amps. This amp is made in Statesboro, Georgia. Everything down to these knobs on the front are made in the United States. It's a lifetime warranty. And I am so proud of this amp. I think if I have any legacy to guitar, and I'm not saying that I will, it will be this amp. And thank you so much again, Toby.
My pleasure, sir.
Thank you, Joanna, for filming.
Thank you.